Hey guys, so this will be the last video for the Rain of Arrows ability. We just need to make some small adjustments like spawning the arrow and firing the arrow, because at the moment we have empty hands, so it doesn't look very good. And also I want to remove the cost and start the cooldown only after we actually fire the Rain of Arrows ability. And then we're just going to set up so we can actually cancel it with the right click or something. So we'll do all of that. Let's just start with spawning the arrow. So we need to go to ability component, and here where we're executing the ability, Rain of Arrows, we will find this part with the montage. Move this back. I do have some rogue node here, so I'm just going to delete this part, and then in this montage we can set up montage notify. So open it up, and we're just going to set up where we want to spawn the arrow. This montage plays really fast, so it can be somewhere in the beginning. So here I'm going to right click next to notify track, add notify and montage notify. And this one will be spawn arrow. Save it, go back to ability component, and now on notify begin, we don't need to do switch or anything because there is only one notify. So we'll just do directly spawn actor from class. And now the thing is, you could get the currently equipped arrow from the player if you wanted, but since this is an ability, I'm just going to do a default one, which is my iron arrow. I'm not going to complicate it. It will still remove the correct one, but when we spawning it, it will just be iron arrow. Or if you want, you can create a custom arrow for abilities or something. So spawn actor from class, iron arrow. We need to right click on a spawn transform and split it. You can either do make transform or just leave it like this. And then again, I'll move this. After we have spawned it, we need to promote this to a variable, and this one we can just call arrow. And after, from the arrow, we're going to attach actor to component. We need to attach it to player mesh. So we do have mesh here. When we're playing the montage, just connect it directly to parent, and socket name will be arrow. Location will be snap to target, and snap to target. And that's pretty much it. So this will be spawning the arrow. And let's just test it out. So equip the bow, abilities, and there we go. I have arrow in hand. And now I want to also fire it. So when we press the ability, you know, as you can see, it's staying in a hand. So for firing it, we want to set up custom function, because at the moment we only have this fire arrow, but it actually sends the info to arrow for damage and all that stuff. We don't need to do all of it. So we can duplicate this function, fire arrow, and this one will be fire rain of arrow. And what we need to remove the arrow. We don't need this part. We don't actually need any of these line trace or shoot arrow. We'll delete it. We'll do it manually. So I didn't actually have to copy the same function. So we can remove this damage multiplier. And after remove arrow, we need to get ability component and get that reference to that arrow that we just set up, that we just spawned. So get arrow. And from here on this arrow, this is a class reference, so it's from the base arrow, so it does have a projectile movement. We will get projectile movement. And then we can just set up where we want to fire it. So first we need to enable simulation, because we turned it off in the base arrow. So set simulation enabled and tick it, so it's true. We also need to detach it. Detach the actual arrow from the player, so detach from actor, and here we will need to change it to keep world, so it doesn't like rotate or move the location. It will stay as we spawned it in the hand. And then after we have enabled simulation, we'll just give it some velocity, so it will fire straight up. So from the arrow we can get forward vector, and we can multiply this. So multiply, right click, convert this to float, and we'll multiply it. I think our arrow flies at like 3000 So this one I'll do a little bit slower, 2500. And then from projectile movement, we need to set velocity. And that is pretty much it. So this will give the arrow actual speed, so it will just fly where it's pointing. Don't need to calculate any traces, anything else. And then also what we want to do, we want to destroy it straight after, because it's obviously meant to break into different rain of arrows, so we just want to destroy it. So where would be the best place? In ability component, in the spawn arrow event, spawn rain of arrows, double click. So as soon as we spawn it here on the execution, we're going to do small delay. Maybe like 0.5 would be good, probably even less, just so we can see the arrow flying away, and then we destroy it so it doesn't like hit anything. And on completed, we're going to what we need to do, actually do a little bit less, because we really don't want to hit anything with this arrow. It might mess up a few things, because on hit events it executing some stuff. So do delay 0.3, and then we will get this arrow, right click, convert to validated get, and if it's valid, we will destroy it. Always do validity check so you don't break your game, just in case. So is valid and destroy actor. Compile and save, and now that should be all fixed. So equip bow, ability, and press 1, spawning arrow, and then press left mouse button. I think we already added delete, because it deleted it instantly. Did we already have a delete in this function? Play montage or notify begin. No, we do have delay, so this one was too short then. I'll do 0.5. Ah, of course, I didn't even fire it. That's what happened. So in the in the player, in the combat, here where we're checking if it's raining arrows, spawn rain of arrows, and then I need to move this again a little bit. We will just connect that function after fire rain of arrow. So as soon as we fire it, it will also let go of the arrow. We don't need to set up any montage notify or anything. So now, abilities, press 1, left click, there we go, arrow flies, it gets destroyed, and then arrows fall to the ground. So that looks much better. It actually looks like it's firing. There we go. So that's the first part done. Second thing I wanted to do is, at the moment when you rain down arrows on yourself, on enemies, it has like a weird collision. This time it didn't hit. And now run out of arrows. Doesn't happen always. It needs to hit it like directly. See, when it hits the enemy, it kind of slides off them. So hits them, slows down, and then slowly falls to the ground. So that doesn't look very good. What we want to do is we actually want to ignore the player, and we want to ignore the enemy. So it just falls to the ground, but it still hits them. For that, I think the easiest way would be just to set up new collision, because at the moment in Niagara system we have set up projectile, but projectile needs to block the enemy, otherwise we wouldn't be able to cause damage with anything. So if I go to third person effects, rain of arrows, in a collision we do have projectile, but as I said, even on the player, projectile needs to be blocked on the mesh, because otherwise we're not able to cause damage. So we're going to create one more collision response. So let's go to edit, project settings, and here find collision, and we do have a projectile, so we're going to create a new one, and this one will be rain of arrows. Accept, default response needs to be blocked. so it will block everything. But then on player, we're going to turn it off on the mesh, so we are going to ignore it. Then we're going to ignore it on interact radius and also on capsule component. These three needs to have it ignored. And pretty much same thing on the enemy. So let's go to blueprints, NPCs, and enemy. And here we want to go to mesh. You could probably do it on base NPC instead of enemy. It's fine. So rain of arrows, it's going to be ignored on enemy, and capsule component ignored. And since these arrows are not actually what is causing damage, it's only when they hit the ground they spawn that circle, so it won't affect anything. But now they won't be like weirdly bouncing off or sliding. I don't have arrow, so now if I go close, fire it, it seems to be all fine. They fall into the ground nicely. Okay, so that's another thing fixed. Now one more issue we will have is that when the arrow lands sideways on something that is like a hill or something. I don't have a landscape in this one again. I'm not sure if I do have that map I created in the last one. No, I don't. So it's basically only when they land on something very steep, they will slide down. And there is an easy fix for that. We just need to go to rain of arrows and select this one and search for friction. And I mentioned it before, but I set this one to 10, but also set this default friction to 10. That way the arrows will actually stick to even the steep surfaces, so they won't slide down. Save it. Alright, that's friction. And then what did I want to do? So we need to rework a little bit of how the abilities are calculating the cost and stuff like that, because at the moment, you probably have noticed this, but when I start aiming with this rain of arrows, my cooldown start going, and also what else? And my mana cost went down, and I haven't even fired it. And then when I fire it, nothing happens, and my cooldown is already ready. So what we want to do is only when we execute this ability, we will remove the mana cost, and we will actually start the cooldown. So for that, couple things we need to do in ability component. This will actually be better in the long term because there will be more abilities that actually need to do the same thing. So in usability, here we do have these checks. So first I'm going to go to calculate cost, double click on it, and here we're only going to be checking if we have enough mana, and then modify current stat we will just set up in different function. So remove this part and remove this part, and we actually don't need to do this local success here because we can just remove this and return node, add return node. In this for loop anyway, this is cost will be only, as I mentioned, it's best if you set up only one cost in a map array. I mean, it should only cost mana or stamina or health or whatever you want, but it should only be one attribute. And we can return this branch success. We don't need to do this one. Or uncompleted actually, if it fails. No, it won't fail. It won't fail. It will always return true or false. So set it up like this. And now we need to do the removal on the end of the function. So let's create the function on the end of the function, sorry, and the end of the executability. So let's create one more function, which will be remove cost. And in here we will need actual input, which will be cost. And that is stat, I believe, stats enumerator. Turn it into map array, and second one is float. That will be cost, and we need to get keys, and we need to get values, one after the other, and then redirect it just so it's not overlapping. And then for the keys we need to do for each loop, and what it's going to do is get owner, get component by class. This will be stats component, and we're going to modify current stat because we're removing from the current. This will be the stat, and we need to get actually how much we need to remove. So from value we're going to get a copy on this index, and we will modify current stats -1. Sorry, we need to multiply this by -1, otherwise we're adding that stat, that cost. So multiply by -1, compile and save. And now on executability event, in the end, we basically, no, we're actually not doing it here. We're doing it when we spawn rain of arrows. That's when we left click and we spawn rain of arrows. So here on the execution, we can squeeze it before this destroy actor and delay. You don't want to have a delay on that. And we're going to remove cost. As you can see, I don't have a cost here. So we need to pass it to this executability. So find executability, add, and we're going to do cost. And you already have a same ones if you just created it before. So cost, and now we will promote it to variable. Promote to variable, and that will just be cost. This is event, so we can't actually get it as a function variable. We need to promote it to variable and then get it later. So now here we will connect it, get cost, and what else? So that's for the cost. Now it should be actually removing when we shoot the arrow, something you don't like. Here I didn't connect it. Okay, so in a usability we also need to connect the cost, but here we have it, so we can just connect it directly. What ability we're executing, and we have it here. The reason why I did it as a input is because we're already getting the data table row, so we don't have to do it again. Compile and save, and that is for the cost. So this will just check if we have enough, but it won't remove it, and then it will remove in executability. So now when we play the game, abilities, this one. So I press 1, and as you can see my mana is still full, but then when I execute it, my mana goes down. So that is working fine. Now I also want to do the same thing with the cooldown. So for the cooldown, we'll set it up for the rest of the abilities later. So for the cooldown, we're also going to create one in executability. Select it, create a new one, and this one will be cooldown. So we can just pass it on from here, but this one is a single variable and it needs to be float. And then we'll pass the cooldown this time, which we actually have here. So cooldown. And now this part, this is where we're actually starting the cooldown. We're adding it to ability CDs and all that stuff. So what we want to do is we're going to pack this into function. So right click, collapse to function, and this one will be start cooldown. Remove cost and start cooldown. So this one start cooldown, open it up. We do have 2 cooldowns, so we only need 1. Delete the second one and then connect it here. For the ability, this won't actually work. We need to create the ability input, which is abilities enumerator. and we'll name it ability. It conflicts with the output. We don't need the output. Remove it. And now we can rename this ability and then connect it to this and connect this here and here. 3 things. So that will be ability cooldown. Compile and save. It will give us error because here it's connected, so disconnect this. And why isn't it not ability still? Ability. I need to probably compile everything. It doesn't let me do. Okay, so never mind. Connect the ability, which is this one is in the function. Again, I feel like I'm complicating things, so just search for ability and connect it. And then this one, disconnect and connect here as well. All right, now compile, and if you compile now, you should be able to change this to ability. There we go. And we don't actually want to have it here. So what we're going to do is hold Control, drag these nodes, just so I don't make a mistake, and paste it directly to executability and delete it from here. And now we got a bit more space. So we just moved it into function, open this executability. Here we need to promote to variable, and this one will be cooldown. And while we're doing all of this, we can also do maybe ability here. So promote this to variable, and this one will be ability that we are executing. Shouldn't mess with anything else, hopefully. Compile and save. And now again, when we're spawning the arrows, spawning rain of arrows, same thing. After remove cost, we're going to start cooldown and then connect to delay, and this cooldown we have variables all here, so cooldown and ability. Play the game, let's test it out. So equip bow, equip the ability. And 1. There we go. I didn't actually watch it. So yeah, as soon as you fire it, it starts the cooldown. And that is working fine. Cool, so that's how I wanted it. Now for the rest of the abilities, all you have to do is, you can do it yourself. We just need to connect remove cost and start cooldown in the end here. So for example, if I have stone form, we don't have an output node. So what we can do is just going to connect it from here. This is on notify begin, so I'm just going to connect it to output directly straight away. And then I'm going to, after we have output, we're going to remove cost and start cooldown. Cost, cooldown, and ability. And this is what you do for all of them. I'm not going to do all of them on video because there's quite a lot. Just connect the output node, you know, and then do this. And then let's just test the stone form as well. So this one, equip it. I think I need 200 for that or whatever weapon. And press 1. And cooldown and cost works fine as before. Cool. So that's another fix done. And then last thing we want to do is we want to cancel the whole event when we right click the mouse button. So for that, let's go to player, and on the right mouse button, there is a lot of stuff here already. Move this part just here. After this gameplay tag, we're going to do check, but before continue right mouse button, and For the check, we will have a look at the gameplay tags and check if it has tag. Character actions is raining arrows. Character checks is raining arrows. And if it's not, we continue. If it is, we're going to cancel that event. So we can actually create function here. That will be probably easier because we need to cancel some montages and stuff. I think it will be better in the player. We don't have to then cast to the player. So let's create function here. And this one will be cancel rain of arrows. And first thing that we need to do is we need to stop anim montage, which will be bow draw up, and what we want to do then, in the ability component we're setting strafe and all this stuff from the movement component. So copy this part, set movement mode. So find this part on a spawn rain of arrows and copy it, set movement mode, remove gameplay tag, and also remove gameplay tag spawn arrows. Okay, just copy this for now. And let's go to player, paste it here, and then use controller rotation yaw is self reference, but these two needs to be from the movement component. This one desired rotation and orient rotation to movement, and then set movement mode as well from movement component. Then remove gameplay tag, not from the owner. We just need to get gameplay tags and remove gameplay tag. Which will be character checks is executing ability, and also we want to remove one more, which is rain of arrows. So gameplay tag character checks is raining arrows. Okay, so this one, just look for it again. What is it? Use controller rotation yaw. Use controller rotation yaw. Set it. Use controller rotation yaw set. Because this needs a player reference or character reference. Okay, so this will stop the montage that we have like idle when we're drawing up, and then remove all the gameplay tags. And then cancel rain of arrows needs to be on the combat here. So cancel rain of arrows. I'm just thinking if it's not gonna cancel when we actually fire it. Should be alright, let's see. Okay, so press 1 and right click, cancel. I haven't destroyed arrow or the area, we need to do that as well. But everything else is fine. Oh, don't chase me now. Let me see if I fire and then right click. It seems to be fine. Okay, so to destroy the area, we just need to go back to player, and in this cancel rain of arrows, we will get ability component, get arrow, and get area, target area reference. Both of them convert to validated get. And then if it's valid, we're going to destroy actor and then continue. If it's not valid, you continue as well. And then from this one, same thing, destroy actor, and then we don't have to continue anywhere. Alright, so this will get rid of the area and the arrow that you have in your hand. Play the game. And one more test is equip the bow abilities, this one. Hold one, right click, cancelled, and the arrow is gone, the area is gone, and you move normally. And if I maybe fire and then quickly right click, okay, I can't cancel it still. That's working fine. Cool. Alright, so that's pretty much all of it. There is one more thing I think I wanted to do. It's you can at the moment execute abilities when you are stunned. So that is just one check that we can do in ability, which is in use ability. We're doing all the checks. Use ability, and there is this can execute ability. And we're not checking for stunt, so we need to do hashtag character checks. This is in status stunt, and we will do not boolean and add it here. Cool. Because otherwise, obviously, if you didn't check it, then you are stunned and you can execute ability freely because it lets you. I'm not going to test it. And I think the arrows still fell on me. Let me see a couple more times. If I move. Oh yeah, it's definitely slowing down. Rain of arrows, collision. Alright, I haven't changed this to rain of arrows here. So in a collision, you need to actually change it to the rain of arrows we have set up. Otherwise it will be colliding with the player. Okay, I think now it's fine. Okay, seems to be alright. So that's all I wanted to do. So now we got perfect ability, it works fine, and yeah, for the abilities we make in the future, I'm happy that we actually made the cost removal after and also the cooldown, because with some of the spells we probably will be using targeted area as well, or they will work a little bit differently, so that will help. Alright then, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.